Yeah, we got some weather shots up today. We can probably bring it up in a little 2 box here in just a second. So, what we're looking at right here is what we can expect a little later on this afternoon. We wanted to bring it all up together so we could let you know what we're seeing in this storm that is moving across the country right now. And it's the same storm that we are expecting will be impacting us in just a couple hours here in the New York, New Jersey area. So this is actually Skytop, Pennsylvania. Skytop, Pennsylvania is kind of Poconos area, so you can see the clouds and the smoke and the fog and all that kind of stuff. And this is just sort of the first part of what's heading our way. If we go a little further west, where the storm sort of already passed through, this is the Midwest. I was asking Mike Woods a little earlier, where's the storm right now? The storm that we're going to be seeing out our way. He told me that right now it's pretty much in the Midwest, but it is tracking east, and we do expect that by this afternoon, probably around the time that people are going to be heading home, we could have some real problems. So this view right here is Skytop, Pennsylvania. We'll go a little further west into the Detroit area, Detroit, Michigan. So we believe the storm kind of already passed through this area. And so we'll take a look at that. You can kind of see where things are right now. This is actually Southfield, Michigan. Okay, Southfield, Michigan. So not far away. You can see they still got those gray skies there. It is a big problem. And it is something that, yeah, those dark, scary clouds. So that's what we're seeing a little further into the Midwest. This is the Michigan area. The shot that we saw just a second ago was Skytop, Pennsylvania, which is more of the Poconos area. And then let's get one a little closer to what we're seeing outside New York City right now. And so we can give you a sense of what we're seeing right now when it comes to those cloudy skies and the possibility for some of that rainfall that we do expect will really get going by a little later this afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to Newsroom Live. It is just about 10:02 here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Dan Bowens. We do appreciate it. Okay, so now we're taking a look right here at our skyline. What'd you say?
Flight eye.
Okay, so we're going to check in with Mike here. I think Mike's up on the line. He's up in the Weather Center. So Mike, we just you sent me that map a little earlier. So we started in the Midwest. We didn't have any cameras, surprisingly to me, in Ohio. We didn't have Canton and Cleveland and Akron, where I know there's some sort of storm damage kicking up right now. So we started a little further west in like kind of the eastern Michigan area. And you saw the cloudy skies, and then we went over to the Poconos, and you could sort of see it. So it's pretty much stretching all across right now.
Yeah, it's a cold front that's kind of a slow mover with the showers and storms that are coming through. And that's part of the problem because this thing is going to take so long to get through. And the showers that we see are going to kind of hang out. They'll be slow to move. If they were to get in and out pretty quickly, that wouldn't cause as many problems. But these types of thunderstorms, Dan, tend to sit on top of you for a while. And that's why we have the problems out there with the flooding, the flash flooding. And it looks like that stretch. It's basically started already for us here as far as the flood watch is concerned. It goes in through midnight tonight, but we're starting to see some flooding happening right now.
Oh yeah,
over to the northwest of the metro areas.
Okay, so where would we be talking about that we might be seeing some flooding?
So if let's see, I have maps up on links one. I don't know if you want, we can kind of thumb around. Oh, there you go. Okay, so I can just kind of zoom in and show you what's happening. This is the cluster of showers and storms that we're speaking of that's rolling to the east and northeast. Looks like it's only moving around 10 to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour. That's relatively slow for us here. And it's been putting down a lot of rain in a short period of time.
So that's
why we have
that's just
west warnings in effect.
Just west of Yonkers right now, sort of like, do we have any cameras in the Yonkers, west of Yonkers, like Allentown?
It's just now. The thing is, in Yonkers, it's not quite raining there just yet,
right?
but these storms have been moving very slowly. Let's go. Okay, this one kind of shows you very specifically
so
where that rain is.
Yeah, that's Wyckoff.
We're talking about near East Fishkill, Yorktown, New City, Yonkers. Actually, there are a few storms that just bubbled up. That's the nature of the beast when it comes to
let's try to check
these showers and thunder showers.
Let's
and
check
look at all this
West
lightning
Milford.
action that we have
let's check West
here
Milford
in Passaic County and over towards Somerset, Morris, I should say. But I'm sorry, did I miss something that you said? Oh,
No,
I think it
I'm
froze
just
a little bit. Oh,
trying to
nope.
check on our cameras here because I see you have lightning strikes, already
Yep.
62 lightning strikes in the
Okay.
West Milford, Wyckoff kind of area. So we're going to try to see if we can find any of our cameras that we have there.
Okay.
Where is it? Okay, so this is Bath, Pennsylvania. So this is not far out from what you're talking about. Bath, PA,
Okay.
is kind of in that
Yes,
same.
yes, yes. So that's a little bit further to the west, but I mean, there
Look at
have been
this. Yeah,
showers, thunder
this is what
showers that
they're
have
seeing
come
there.
through. Oh yeah, you can see that murky shot. Almost looks like are those emergency vehicles? It's hard for me to tell exactly what that is, but yes, heavy showers, low clouds, tons of tropical moisture that's in the mix for us here right now. That just feeds into these storms that we are dealing with, and man, they're going to really pack a punch. It looks like actually some of the showers they moved on, and then more storms are actually firing up on the backside. So I don't know if you remember. Of course, you probably do. What happened over the weekend? We had the thunderstorms come in. They sat on top of us. They dumped rain, lots of lightning, some gusty winds out there as well, flooding, which was localized, but also somewhat widespread because they'd be slow movers and just kind of creep from one region to the next. It'll be another situation like that. And here's the deal with the timing. The timing is such that, as far as the metro areas are concerned, this is probably going to be at its worst in the mid to late afternoon hours. So you can imagine what that's going to do for those who have to commute, especially up the lower Hudson Valley, northern sections of New Jersey, up over into to Connecticut. That's probably where you're going to get the hardest. And I did notice that just in the last probably half an hour or so, the Weather Service, National Weather Service, actually changed the flood watches that were in effect. They were in effect for just mainly New Jersey, all the way from Bergen back down toward the Philadelphia corridor over toward Trenton. But now it's expanded up into Rockland County, Orange County, Putnam and Dutchess
Oh,
County,
wow.
or Putnam and Westchester counties, and then over into Fairfield County in Connecticut. So that's all up for us here as we go through the afternoons. That's up actually until 2 o'clock in the morning for those regions. So it's a long time for the heavy rain. By the way, the rain rates are expected to be in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour, and in some places in the neighborhood of 2.5 inches per hour. This is, one of those situations where if you get that heavy rain happening on top of maybe some of the large, metro areas, urban areas, where you've got the subways, and you could see that rain coming down the subway stairs, the pouring down through the subway grates if it sits on top of us here in the city. Though it does look like it wants to focus the heavier showers just to our north, I wouldn't be surprised to see at least some of that action happening for us as we head toward the afternoon and the evening commute, with the subways and the train stations being impacted by the heavy rain that tends to overwhelm the sewer systems and whatnot. So this is going to be one of those afternoons where we have to really watch it closely. Yes, it does look like we are going to see these heavy showers going on for quite a while. So the Poconos, you say you have some
Th-
video from the Poconos as well? Okay, I
That's the
see it.
video.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the
Pocono
Pocono
Raceway.
Raceway. So
Yeah.
there were two images that we had up. The one just before this was Stroudsburg. So that's like Shawnee, people
Okay.
familiar with that when you're doing
Sure.
skiing and stuff like that. And then this right here is the Pocono Raceway, also in
Yes,
Pennsylvania.
that's.
Obviously the Pocono. So this is,
I think that's Lackawanna County, or
yeah,
up
yeah.
near Long Pond.
Somewhere in that area. I mean, obviously people familiar with that, but you can sort of see it here. I mean, it's so interesting to watch the storm from our cameras sort of making its way, and you see some of the tail end of it. They already had the rain, they already had the conditions out a little further west in the
Right.
Ohio area, and now right here clearly this is some of those tough conditions. And Mike, kind of what you mentioned, the first part of this, we might get two sort of separate storm hits today, in a sense. One is going to be earlier this afternoon, but then the stronger one that could be a real problem is the one that we're looking at, which is more like between 5 and 11, like the afternoon drive time.
Exactly. It's like rounds of showers again. A lot like the what we had last weekend, where we had one round between 11 a.m. and about 2 o'clock. Then it took a little break, and then it came back again around 6 or 7 o'clock, dumped out some more rain. This is a situation like that. It's almost as though the atmosphere has a chance to recharge itself, load itself up with more moisture and energy, and give you another round of heavy showers and storms. So this might be a 1-2 punch situation that we have set up for us. And even once this is done today, tomorrow we still have the scattered showers and storms back in the area again. So this is not something that gets out of here immediately, unfortunately. And it does look like we're going to have to, just have to grin and bear it, so to speak, because these showers are set up with us. It's been apparent that this is going to be here for a while. Also, the possibility of an isolated tornado, that's not out of the
Oh
question. We
boy,
did
oh
actually have
boy.
tornado warnings just to the northwest of the tri-state region on Saturday afternoon and evening. Now, those were radar indicated, meaning there was rotation noted within the storms that were coming down this way. So far, we don't have anything of that sort, but the heavy rainfall is certainly an issue. But that's something when the Storm Prediction Center puts us in this zone right here, and the level 3 risk of severe weather, that means you're not looking at just isolated strong storms, but it's a little more numerous. So there are going to be more widespread strong storms, which have the potential to bring us the heavy rain, gusty winds, as well as tornadoes at the same time. So it's all coming through for us as we go through the morning and into the afternoon in particular. You'll see the conditions kind of come and go with these heavy showers and storms here, Dan, before we get a break.
So this video right here is our camera in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So obviously that's kind of what we're thinking is, it's kind of one of those active storms, I guess, that we're seeing just sort of make its way west. I'm sorry, make its way east from the
Right.
Midwest. So they're obviously getting a little hit of it right here. I just want to bring up real quick, Tyler, if we can, some of the video that we saw from this weekend, which would be the more severe storms that we got, those flash flooding. And that's a real concern that we had for the New York, New Jersey area. Obviously, it's the Queens region where we saw that, like the fire truck sort of zooming through the overpass there, the cars that are stuck in the water. And this happened pretty quick. I mean, it was not long before we started to see these conditions like that. I mean, are we thinking it could be a similar thing tonight that could happen here?
That could very well be happening. When you get rain rates in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 inches per hour, 2.5 inches per hour, that could be happening. I don't know how that fire truck got through.
I
I'm
don't know
starting to
either.
think that they must have those fire trucks situated, set up such that they are set to go through floodwaters, almost like some Hummers are made like that. They're almost amphibious in nature, where they can drive with the water that comes all the way up to the windshield because they have a breather that's somewhere up above the water surface, and so they're made to go through that. I didn't know that fire trucks could do that, to be honest with you, so I was a little surprised. Generally speaking, when you run into a flooding situation like that, we tell you turn around, don't drown, but some vehicles are set up to actually go through that. It's not many. So if you run into that situation, we do not recommend that you do what that fire truck right there is doing, because you could get yourself into trouble. Then you get the emergency crews potentially in a situation where they could be putting themselves in danger. So if you run into a flood like that, turn around, don't drown. You don't want to be that bobbing, floating car right there,
Yeah, you don't want
because
to be the other
that
car.
obviously not what you want to deal with
Yeah,
here.
you don't want to be the other car, Mike. You're exactly right. All right, Mike, thank you very much. As we spun around some of our different cameras that we have from Michigan to the Poconos and right back here in the city. Tyler, as we go to a quick break here, we could probably take a look at the New York City skyline so we can see what we're looking at right now. I think you're starting to see some of those clouds move in a little bit, and obviously we'll be watching things a little later on.